Hey everybody, how's it going? I hope you're having a lovely day. So today I'm going to be going over something that is a follow-up to the video I did recently on the New York City subway system. In this video, which is half news, half unhinged rant, I'm going over the fact that the New York City subway system is having hundreds of thousands of people decide every single day, I'm not paying my toll, I'm not paying my fare, I'm just jumping a turnstile, I'm taking this bus, and I'm not paying you for it. And in this video, I was going over my experience. I've taken public transit in New York from the age of 13 through, I would say 30, maybe 29. So I took public transit for about 17 years, and it was absolute and utter garbage. And to be clear, this is not because public transit is bad by definition. It is very, very different. Other countries get public transit right. It is because American public transportation is shit. And the sad thing is New York City's is one of the best in the nation, and it still sucks. And the thing that makes it so depressing to me is that everything that was necessary, all the hard parts, the parts that are really difficult and really expensive, have already been done. It's really expensive to build a network of underground tunnels that are that large with stops every 5 to 6 blocks throughout the entire city for people to get on and off. It is very difficult to build completed underground subway stations. It is difficult to lay all of the electric rail so that this system can be powered all the time, not by gas, but by electricity. It is difficult to have this system have all the switches necessary, all the cell phone repeaters necessary so that people can, browse on their phone and do all the stuff. They put that in there about 5 or 8 years ago so you could even browse your phone while you're in the underground station. All the stuff that is difficult, all the stuff that is insanely expensive, that would require lots of serious labor, was already done. And the hardest parts of the system were done over 100 years ago. All they had to do with the MTA was collect people's money and not fuck it up, and do basic maintenance along the way. Oh, this switch is not working, let's fix it. Oh, this train car is getting a little old, let's buy another one or fix the one that we have. All they had to do, basic maintenance, collect people's money, not fuck it up. And because this is related to the people who administer and run New York City, somehow they manage to fuck it up. To the point where, as I said in this video, you will have trains that for over 10 years constantly get stuck, like the L train at the Myrtle Wyckoff stop or the stop before, where you're stuck for 20 minutes in between. Or this train is not going past Lorimer. This F train will not be stopping at Avenue U. This L train will be stopping at Rockaway Parkway. Get on a shuttle bus. Get on another shuttle bus at Myrtle Wyckoff. Another shuttle bus at Lorimer. It's like, it doesn't work. And people have finally gotten so fed up with this garbage system, whether we're talking about that or whether we're talking about the people that will scream at you like they want to kill you while you're on the subway, that they're just jumping the turnstile. They're saying, you know what? Screw this. I'm done. I am not paying for this garbage experience anymore. So how are they responding to the fact that people have gotten so fed up with this garbage system that they are just jumping the turnstiles and refusing to pay by the hundreds of thousands? They're making it more expensive. I shit you not. A standard New York City solution. Instead of fix any of the things that are actually broken, let's charge people more money and raise taxes. Common rail fares would go up by as much as 4.6%, with monthly passes costing no more than $500. It's something we don't necessarily want to do, but it has to be done because that's what organizations like ours do, Neil Zuckerman said. I repeat that. It's something we don't necessarily want to do, but it has to be done because that's what organizations like ours do. We don't want to fuck things up more, but that's what organizations like ours do. State lawmakers last month agreed to increase the payroll tax in the city's largest businesses to raise $1.1 billion annually for the MTA and to direct one-time $300 million in aid to the agency. If you're in New York City, you have some of the highest taxes in the country already. They have over $100 billion budget, but that's not enough. They've always got to take more. And I promise you, this is going to be the last time we take more. I promise things are going to get better. The L train's going to work at Myrtle Wyckoff. You'll never have to get in a shuttle bus again between Bedford Nostrand and Metropolitan. You won't have to take the N train and then walk for 30 minutes to your apartment on Avenue U because the F train never actually stops at Avenue U like it's supposed to. We promise, after this one last tax increase, you will have a working train system. That additional revenue, along with the fare and toll increases and $400 million of annual operating efficiencies, will help resolve budget gaps that were expected to grow to $3 billion by 2025. This region is so fortunate to have a transportation system like we have, and we cannot let it fall down, Andrew Albert, an MTA board member, said during a meeting. We must keep it going. We must improve the service. You must not say what you are going to do. You need to actually do it. And here's the thing. You had the chance over 10, 20, 30 years to make this crap better. People who are responsible and accountable for building good transit systems in other countries whose transit systems don't suck tried to work on it here. And they left because they gave up because it's effing impossible. The tax increase isn't going to fix it. I'm just going to throw out that crazy prediction right now that taking more money from businesses in the city is not going to fix it. And taking more money from the commuters is not going to fix it. Asking the businesses in an area with declining business to pay you more money will result in more of them leaving. Asking people that are already jumping turnstiles because the service sucks to pay more money for the same shitty service that you'll never fix is going to cause more of them to jump turnstiles, which in turn is going to get more people to jump turnstiles. And then the people that are not jumping the turnstiles are going to look at this and go, you know what? Why am I the only one paying? Screw this. And once you get to the point where your average, everyday, law-abiding citizen says, screw this, I'm not paying the fare, then you're really effed. That's the point at which you're going to have transit cops in the subway that start arresting people that decide to jump the turnstile. And because this is just never something that goes well, it's never going to begin. Once you get a cop involved, once you have people who are breaking the law, who are trying to do things they're not supposed to, who are going to run away, you're going to have an altercation. There's going to be an altercation where a police officer is a little bit too rough with somebody that jumps the turnstile, and then the protest will come. And then you'll have people saying, how dare you? That person was just trying to jump the turnstile because they needed to get a piece of bread or something. And after that happens, you will have protests and outrage and aggravation, and then you'll go back to what you were doing before. That's my prediction. That's my prediction. You had the chance over a very long time period to collect more money and to make it better, and you never did. You never did. You had the best infrastructure in the United States for public transit in a densely populated area and all the opportunity in the world to make it great. And somehow you fucked it up. I do not believe that increasing the fare and getting more money from the taxpayers in the state or the city is going to improve this one bit. Because you've never done something better with more money before, why would you do better with more money now? What needs to be done is not collecting more money from the commuter. What needs to be done is taking every single person responsible and accountable for why this agency, why this transit system is the way it is, and tossing them out on their ass, getting new people in there, and then giving these people that have real-world experience, that have real-world expertise, the opportunity, the authority, and the ability to make things better, which means not second-guessing them, which means giving them actual authority rather than just a title, and trusting them. And taking all the people that are there right now and sending them the fuck out of there. I speak for anybody who has spent more than 10 minutes waiting between DeKalb and Myrtle Wyckoff and a barely air-conditioned subway car that they could not get out of because it was stuck between the fucking stations. You think I'm kidding? You think I'm kidding? Some of this bullshit has not been fixed for over a fucking decade, and it is getting aggravating. I'm actually going to read a text message here that comes from a good friend of mine. We met over 16 years ago, and he actually saw my video on the transit system. He's not rich, but he is well into the point where he does not need to jump turnstiles to pay his rent. Watched your video about the subway. I've been regularly skipping fare for a minute now. I don't hop the turnstile. My knees are too old, but I can run underneath it in one foul swoop without breaking a pace. He's old. He can't jump, and he's still figuring out ways to not pay. I don't do it 100% of the time, but every time I can do it without headache or incident, I do. The habit started last year when I was broke, and I realized that the Halsey Street L stop was vacant when I'd leave work, and no one was there to stop me. Once I got back up and didn't have to sweat saving $3 a pop, then I just kept skipping fare out of principles. I had a business meeting scheduled with Redacted recently, scheduled for noon. Normally, it should take me an hour and 10 minutes door to door from home to the office. I gave myself 2.5 hours to make the trip so I'd be early and prepared. Service was so badly rerouted, I had to take a D train running on the N line to get to the G at 4th Avenue, to the C, to the L, to a shuttle bus. I left my apartment at 9:30 and arrived at 12:05. He was 20 minutes late, so it was fine. But that's why they don't deserve fare. MTA had infinite opportunities to do right, and they squandered it, and they need to be bled dry. One time back in 2012 at the store, you were chastising me and a coworker for being late, rightfully so. We were trying to give you the line about the train being late, and you said something that stuck with me forever. You said, and he's quoting me from over 10 years ago, when has the train ever ran correctly? When has the train in New York City ever been on time and not had unexpected garbage occur? You're well aware that it happens, and you're well aware that the city is run by unaccountable morons. So you have to plan accordingly, and somebody who is responsible will take this into account and plan accordingly. I remembered that and tried to implement it into my regular discipline. Today, I would say the train has gotten so bad, almost no amount of time you give yourself is enough of a buffer to 100% guarantee you won't serially be derailed. He left Gravesend at 9:30 in the morning and could not make it to Bushwick by 12 o'clock. That is 3 hours to travel a distance of less than 20 miles. The people who run this system have no right receiving a salary from the taxpayer or from any of the people paying fare. They should be tossed the F out. Because again, what he's saying, this is true. People who live in New York City who have to make these commutes, they will agree with my friend. I know every single person who is receiving a salary to administer the system that runs this poorly, who is in a decision-making role, who is responsible for the system being as bad as it is, needs to be run the F out immediately. And anybody who takes the train on a regular basis, as often as I used to or my friend does, understands this to be the case. You understand it should not take 3 hours to get from Gravesend to Bushwick. That is bullshit. In all seriousness, people like him that say, yes, I'm done paying for this, they need to be bled dry, this is their protest. They're not being violent. They're not being angry. They're not breaking into a business. They are saying, we've been paying you for years. Our tax dollars have been subsidizing this for years, and it never effing works. We're done. And guess what? I don't care. I'm all for it. By all means, continue as you were doing. I'm sure that a bunch of other people feel the exact same way. Nothing is going to seriously change unless there is such a catastrophe that it forces it to happen. And again, I am not for violence. I am not for destroying people's businesses. I am not for destroying their property. But if they're walking under a turnstile to take a train, that's it for today. And as always, I hope you learned something. I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.